Is there a part of you that resists online retail because it could undercut your loyal franchisees?
It's a problem in terms of if I had my choice and could have buried it before it ever started, the answer is yes, I would have. Because you've got a problem now where people come into your shop and they've got a device and they ask that salesman how much a TV is or a fridge, and then they start in front of them comparing the price amongst other retailers. So we mostly get the sale because they just keep cutting the price down and to equal it. So your margin's dropping. So when your margin drops, you don't make the money. And if that happens right across the board, then you close the shop. So now we're not opening any shops and we're looking at closing some shops. So that means we employ less people, volume goes down and that sort of thing. But the manufacturers have got another problem. So if you're a manufacturer, you need your product to be sold at a profit. You need those stores to be making money. And if they make no money, then where are you going to sell your product? To an online retailer. But hang on, he doesn't do any business to speak of. He's such a small part of your business. He doesn't advertise. And so that's hopeless. So if you've got middle to premium product, you absolutely do not want to be with those online retailers. They're just a pain in the arse. They're ruining your good retailers and selling all your product. So we're in that game now, but you've got to go through a product or category by category. So in furniture and bedding, there's virtually nothing ever sold online. And everyone pretty much comes into your shop to buy it. Now, we've got a shop in every town in Australia, so we're in a perfect position. So if someone wants to start an online furniture bedding online shop, I don't know how you're going to do that. You'll do it, but you'll never do any business, you'll never make any money, unless you find some niche in the market, which a couple have found with fake furniture from China, copying brands and that sort of thing. So Matt Black is doing a bit of business like that, have a little shop and a bit of online. But again, in the big furniture bedding business, it's inconsequential. So then when you get into electrical and computers, it's a bit different story. But then so you've got, say, Miele, which is one of our big sellers, and they have a system where they sell, the retailer acts as an agent. So we will have the Miele range on the floor and we sell it. But Miele deliver it, pick up the money, and then send you a commission. So an online retailer has to compete with that. So under that system, he tries to cut the price. He can't. Miele won't let him cut the price. Okay? Their system stops him cutting the price. So he can't get into that market. Miele doesn't want to supply him. So he can't be there. There's no place for him. And so more and more people will start to take that one. And then you've got other manufacturers that will also know that if they supply that bloke over there, he's undercutting all the time. So they can't afford to have that happen either, because then all that Harvey Norman does is they just say to Electrolux, well, sure, we sell it, but we used to be 25% of your business and we're now 3%. Go with the online. And then business starts to go like that. So we're online, we've got the shop, but if the online bloke's undercutting us all the time, the manufacturer's got a big problem, because his volume starts to drop. And so they all know that. It's happening all across the world. So the other day you had a situation in America with Amazon. I don't know whether you're up to date with it, but Amazon, since 1998, I think, there's been complaints about Amazon selling into all the states in America, and they don't pay tax. It's because they're a
Move to Washington or something. Jeff Bezos.
Nevada, where there's no state tax. So, but there is a state tax in every other state. So finally, now all the states are now saying they've got the legislation through, and they've all got to pay. Amazon's got to pay tax. So if they sell into California, 8% tax. So now Best Buy, which is about the last remaining bricks and mortar type, their sales suddenly go up straight away now because Amazon have lost their unfair advantage. Amazon should not be able to sell you a fridge and pay no tax, and Best Buy has to pay 8% tax. How does someone figure out that's fair? And of course then Amazon don't have the shops, they've got warehouses, and they just send it out. And so it's an unfair situation. Now that's now coming to an end, but that's taken 14 years to come to an end. That's how slow the bureaucracy or the politicians work. So things that are so obviously unfair, but they've said it's the internet, and so that's okay, but it's not okay. And so this will develop over the next few years, and I'm not smart enough and I'm to know what will happen, one, and two, I'm smart enough to know that no one else knows what's going to happen. So, and we spent a lot of time talking about it, about what different manufacturers are going to do, and we're sitting down talking to each one of those people. Where do you see the future? In the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, let's go through all the retailers that exist now, all the retailers that might exist, and let's just see where you think each one of them will fit. So we watch our market shares every day of the week, and if we saw that our market share was starting to drop in some category, we'd ask why. Say our fridge market share is 28%, and it can get to 38% in the expensive fridges and only 20% in the cheaper fridges. We understand why. But if it went from 28 to 26, we say, where the hell did that 2% go? And if we can identify that and what's happening and try and do something about it. But if a thing happens out there, if there's an industry trend, you very rarely can reverse what's going to happen out there. So rather than try and reverse it, you then start to play in that market and try to exploit it to the best of your ability. And so the big advantage Harvey Norman's got, or the department stores have got, we've got a bigger advantage than them because we've got a shop in every town in Australia. If any 10,000 above, we've got a shop. So we've got this wonderful distribution network. So the guy in Kalgoorlie wants to buy a fridge. So there's a Harvey Norman shop there, he buys a fridge. Oh, hang on a second, he can get it off some guy in Melbourne that's $30 cheaper. And he buys it. Why the hell would he do that? Because it's $30 cheaper. Yeah, but if something goes wrong, mate, what are you going to do? There's no point to it. And then if the fridge gets delivered with a dent, it gets on a truck and goes back to Melbourne, right? Well, this is stupid. And so, and we equal their prices anyway. If they come down, we just come down there and do it. So I just see that the biggest internet retailers, I said to someone the other day, would it surprise you in 3 or 4 years that if Harvey Norman was the biggest internet retailer in Australia? He said, yeah, that would. He said, you were the bloke that didn't believe in the internet. I said, well, I know I'll go down in history as the bloke that didn't believe in the internet, but it's not quite true. So he said, geez, that'd be a turnaround, wouldn't it? But there's a real chance, in fact, it's probably a lay down misère, that we'll be the biggest retailer of electrical in Australia, we are now, but we'll also be the biggest online retailer of electrical in Australia, pretty much guaranteed. But now, can we make money?